This is PC747 with another neXup podcast. This is podcast number 4. Continue on talking about tech, as that is the main topic of this podcast. But let's be honest, I'm going to mix in some sports, some entertainment, some movies every now and then, and talk about anything that's just kind of relevant for what's going on today, with the exception of politics and religion. I really don't want to get into politics because no matter what side of the political fence you are on, somebody's going to have a problem with it. And I think it's the same with religion. Those two things that, no matter what you say, it always seems to spur into a large debate where it gets just nasty and out of control. So that will be the two topics that will not make its way ever to my podcast. But everything else, especially tech, will be the main thing being talked about in this podcast by me, your host. Again, my name is PC747. I'm happy to be here today, talk about a number of topics such as what's going on with Google and their decision to challenge the gaming industry and how that's going to go with them. As well as, you look like we're getting an idea with this little Samsung Fold. There may be something on the horizon, something you might want to look out for, something that could be the one thing that keeps it from being the device to buy. And lastly, I'm going to talk about people like me who love gadgets, love tech, how to keep from going broke in doing that. But before we get started, let's keep it real. It's spring, it's nice, the weather's getting out, the sun, flowers out there. But most importantly, it's basketball season. It's that time. It's March Madness. We got the tournaments out there. Bracketology. Let's go. How you guys looking? Like I said, even though tech is our main talk, we do talk sports every now and then. My brother, he may do majority of stuff as far as sports. And he the main one who kind of do a lot of contributions when it comes to sports to our blog. But just because he do all the sports, that I mean I'm not a sports fan. I love it. We got our tournament going. I got one at work. I got one with him. And so far, looking at where I'm standing at my work tournament and looking at where I'm kind of posted at, for right now, I'm at in the middle, 130 points with 140 being the max that you can have. So hopefully things can continue to work out for me with my bracket. But if not, I'm still enjoying the games. I'm enjoying seeing what's going on. I thought Bradley would be able to get that one in yesterday. I was looking for a couple of upsets, and we didn't get it. Bradley for a minute looked like they maybe could have done something. Didn't happen. Then I sat there and saw the Belmont game. I'm like, man, they actually had an opportunity right there to have a nice upset right there. And for whatever reason, it actually came down to a bad pass. And, Maryland right there, dude. They almost got upset right there. One of the first teams to get upset in the playoffs. Yeah, they squeaked by, and they would be playing LSU next. Louisville, actually talking about upset. They got upset by Minnesota. 86-76. Now, Minnesota will be going on to play Michigan State. Gonzaga, they beat Dickinson. They will be playing Baylor in the next round as Baylor defeat Syracuse. We got Marquette going down to Murray State. That right there hurt my bracket because I had Marquette winning. Actually, I had Syracuse beating Baylor as well. So both of those two end up hurt my bracket right there. But Murray State will be moving on. Florida State beat Vermont. Also, Florida beats Nevada 70-60 going on to play Michigan, who beat Montana. Let's see what else. What other games we got? Villanova, they'll be playing Purdue as Villanova knocked off St. Mary's and Purdue beat Old Dominion. Auburn took down Michigan State in a close one, 78-77. And Kansas defeated Northeastern. Kansas will be playing Auburn in the next round. And then we go down to Wofford beating Seton Hall easily. And Kentucky dominating Abel Christian, 79-44. So Wofford will be playing Kentucky in the next round. And we still have a number of games left to be played. Iowa State will be playing Ohio State. Houston will be playing Georgia State. You have Utah playing Washington. North Carolina playing Iowa. Cincinnati playing Iowa. My UT Vols playing Colgate. We better win this one, man. We can't be getting knocked off by Colgate. Wisconsin playing Oregon. Ole Miss going to Oklahoma. And then let's see what else. Virginia playing Garden Webb. Texas Tech playing North Kentucky. Buffalo playing Arizona State. And are there any other games? Yes, several more. Let's see. Virginia Tech playing St. Louis. Mississippi State playing Liberty. VCU playing UFC. And Duke playing North Dakota State. So we still have some games left. I want to know how you guys are doing in your bracket. Did you see a couple of losses that may have hurt your bracket so far? And how are you looking in your tournaments? Are you guys doing good? Are you doing bad? How are we looking? So, with sports out the way, we're going to go ahead and get into the topic of the week, especially if you're a tech fan. And that's Google taking on the gaming industry. And we talked about it last week. Google was talking about going into this gaming world. And a lot of us, including myself, thought, okay, there's no way Google's going to bring out a console, are they? I mean, there's no way. How are they going to be able to compete with PlayStation? How are they going to be able to compete with the Xboxes? They cannot compete. Not in this world. We saw NVIDIA Shield try to do the same thing years back, utilizing Android system. I still have the NVIDIA Shield TV sitting on my stand. That hasn't been turned on for over a year. It's sitting there collecting dust. And the reason for that, because for me, it was a bust. I remember when it first came out, I saw where it could go. I felt like it had some potential, but they couldn't get the games that would bring the people here, that couldn't get people excited. It's like, for the cost of this device right here, this NVIDIA Shield, what would make me buy this device over a PlayStation, over an Xbox, especially when those two systems were getting cheaper? So when you look at these two devices compared, why would I buy it? And that was the question I had. One of the first videos I made for YouTube, and I started getting into this idea of making videos for YouTube, was about the NVIDIA Shield and the potential and what it had. And even then, at that time, I felt like it had potential, but I was on the fence. And like months after, I pretty much had to regret buying it. And that was then. And here we are now. The one game that I probably played on it I thought was cool was, it was Street Fighter 4. Ultra Street Fighter 4, that's what it was. And that was it. That was the only game I really found on there that was appealing to me. And now you can play that on your phone right now, as it's on the Google Play Store. So there is this lack of need for the NVIDIA Shield. And I felt like if Google go down this road, if they try to compete in this industry, I wouldn't see how they would be able to do it, considering NVIDIA tried and they failed. And we know Google. Google always go in this thing half-baked. They never go in full, ready to go, ready to dominate. They go in there with let's just test the waters and see what happens. And because of that, we always get this half-baked idea that seems like it's not all the way fleshed out. That's Google. And I think a lot of us who've been following a lot of Google products over the years in their software, we were expecting that. We were expecting Google to come out here and come up with this console that's pretty much a Chromecast or Android TV box. That's pretty much what it is. Android TV box with games that you can get from the Play Store. I think a lot of us, at least me, was expecting that. So we're like, why should we get excited about this? But that's not what happened. Google actually came for real this time. And I'm surprised. In fact, I actually wrote an article and I said, this may be Google's best thing they created yet, potentially. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're getting here. Because I was excited when I got a chance to really check the keynote on that and see what they're bringing. And this thing was gave me hope for what we can have going forward. So what is Stadia? Well, In a way, it is a gaming system. And that's what they're pitching as. It's a gaming system, but you don't need a box. You don't need a console. It's not going to rely on your hardware. It's not going to rely on your connection speed. No, it's going to rely on something that Google have in the box. And that's their platform. That's their servers. So pretty much Google's server is going to provide the power for your gaming system. And what does that mean? Well, that means whether you're playing on your phone, whether it be a Pixel, your Chromecast, your Chromebook, or even your Chrome tablet, you're still going to enjoy a fluid game. And how is this so? Well, Google is saying that, instead of relying on your connection where it may not be as strong or relying on your hardware that may not be as good, let's go ahead and see if we can provide that from our end so that you can continue to enjoy an awesome gaming system or a gaming experience. And when they pushed this out, they said, now let's compare our stuff to the competition. And what they threw out there is, if you look at the PlayStation 4 Pro, they are putting out 4.2 GPU teraflops. And Xbox One X, 6.0. But we're putting out 10.7. That's more than those two combined. And let's throw out some other things that I really enjoyed about this. So this game, I feel like this is going to really open up a lot as far as not just being a gaming system, but really open up what I think they're wanting to do and expand their other products out there. Because another thing that they pitched out there that you don't need their remote, but having their remote will add some to your experience. Because with their remote, they allow you to pretty much, as their remote connects to Wi-Fi, to continue your experience, whether you plan the game on your phone, or you continue to use your Chromecast or your Chromebook. Like, you literally can go from playing the game on your phone and then say, okay, you know what? I'm at the gym or I'm at an outing or whatever. Let's play it on my little Chrome tablet. All right, I'm at the house now. Let's go ahead and continue this game and play it on the big screen TV. And it's like you continue on with no interruption. That was their pitch right there. And that was cool. And another thing they threw out there on that controller, you can click on that little assistant button and you can share to the world live what you're playing. And not only get it live, but, the same quality that you're getting on your gaming system, because again, it's powered by Google server. Well, your viewers, they're getting that same view, enjoying it. And where this opens up the game is as far as those who are creating content. If you're a content creator, you're a gamer, this right here may change the game in a number of ways. Because for right now, if you want to share your games, if you want to have your Twitch channel, you got to have some type of software, some using OBS, Streamlab, or whatever, to be able to mirror your games to your audience. And even then, you have to worry about your hardware. Because if you don't have the hardware, if you don't have the connection speed, then you may have some latency that may pull away from the experience. And that is what Google is talking about. That we found a way to deal with this latency where your creation that you're throwing out there can be enjoyed with little or no latency. And that's a lot of things they talked about with as far as sharing that. And let's continue on talking about another thing, crowd play, and how that would change the game too. Because literally, I can go out there and be watching a live content. And the way they actually explained this was with NBA 2K. So let's say you have people watching your video and you're playing NBA 2K. And you can open this up where your viewers can enjoy, or not only just enjoy, but join in the game. So they can click a button and they can be next in line. And once you're done with one group or one player, you can bring them in too. And you can dust them off if you want. And what this is going to be, I think, awesome for is something like Mortal Kombat. Why? Because this is something that you can play pretty much quick when it comes to a game. Sports games, you got like 4 quarters. So either you're going to be pretty much a longer wait for the next person. But with something like Mortal Kombat, a fighting game, man, you can get a lot more people in. Pretty much, we took the arcade experience that used to be the way of the 80s and the 90s, where People used to crowd up in arcade rooms and pop in quarters. And we turned that into a whole different experience with this. Because now you as a YouTube creator can literally have your own little arcade world around your YouTube channel. You could literally sit there and have a YouTube channel where you're talking to your fans, talking junk with your fans, and enjoying a game of Mortal Kombat and bring them in, bring them out. Especially if you're someone who's really good at that game. You know, you can dust them all, bring the next one. Dust them all, bring the next one. Or if you lose, you can even enjoy that as well. So, yes, I'm loving this crowd play thing and what it can do there. Let's see what else they are talking about that I think is going to be interesting. Is the simple fact that when you have multiple players playing the game, or you're playing someone across the globe, and the biggest concern would be latency, because it could be whether you have strong speeds or they have strong speeds and you have weak speed. If somebody's speed or someone's hardware is not up to snuff or something's in the way, then you got this idea or issue of latency that could affect the enjoyment of the game. And this is where Google is saying, well, we figured out this. And this is not going to be a problem when you playing having a lot of people playing games. And this means this could open up a lot of worlds as far as games. And this is something they were talking about with crowd play. You can have a lot more people that's being a part of the game and don't have to worry about the experience being, as you could say, dropped. I'm loving this. You know, I'm thinking Google may have finally got it. But there's one thing I got to be honest with you about. This is the one concern I have. Because all this sounds great. You know, we're talking about a gaming system that's backed by software. You know, and let's be honest, when it comes to software, you know, when Google really put their best foot forward and go all out when it comes to software, they're dominant. You know, they're at the top of the game here. I mean, I've said it many times. You know, when they really go full forward, they really got their mind set up. You know, they really going forward with this. They got this software thing down. Hardware, sometimes I ask a question about, but software, they're all in. So they got that. And I think that when it comes to this gaming platform they have, they're going to have the software to really push it. But my concern, my issue, my thing that, I feel is the devil in the details is, will they be able to get those games? Will they be able to get the Maddens? Will they be able to get the Mortal Kombats? Will they be able to get the Street Fighters? Will they be able to get the NBA 2Ks? Will they be able to get these big gaming titles to their platforms? Because, they were sitting there advertising one of the things, because that keynote wasn't just geared toward fans like us. It was definitely geared towards gaming developers. And what they were saying was that in our platform, now, even though we putting out this idea that we will have cross-platform support that you can add in your games, which, we could talk about that later. But the other thing we're trying to advertise is that we can actually get your games out faster than anybody else, easier than anybody else. We can get more people playing your games faster than any other company out there, because we already have the power. We already have that in our software. We already have that in all of in our portfolio, whether it be Google Assistant, utilizing links, anything. Because the way they put that is, you can share a link of the game anywhere, Twitter, Twitch, anywhere, in a blog. And someone can click on that link and jump into a game. That means also, if you're someone who's a game developer and you got a new game out there, you want people jumping on board, you can literally just put out an advertisement and have a link below. And someone can click on that and immediately start enjoying that on Stadia. So this is meant to get these gaming developers on board, saying we can get people to your games quicker. So they are trying to work these gaming developers. But like I said, it's going to come down to getting those big games, because without those big ticketed games, as much potential this game has, or this Stadia have, it's going to fizzle. I think the big key right here is getting these big gaming developers and bring them on board. Now, Stadia is not, they're pitching this is just not just a platform. They want to make an experience, you know. Yeah, and another way, like I said, they talked about the controller that you would be able to buy, and they also going to be part of it. They're going to develop some games for their gaming system. And I think the reason for this is because they want to do a number of things. One, they want to show developers what can be done on their system. Kind of similar to what the Nexus One and the Nexus phones were back in the day when they were trying to get more hardware partners on board, more software partners on board to kind of show them what can be done. They're trying to do the same thing, I believe, with this Stadia game development. But with this, though, they're not going to play this whole game of, you know, like I said, putting out half-baked. They're saying that we bringing in some heavyweights here. We're going to be bringing a game when it comes to, well, no pun intended, we're going to be bringing it when it comes to these games. We're not looking to be throwing out some, like I said, half-baked game. We're ready to go. We're going to show you guys not only what we can do, but we're going to be bringing some stuff to this gaming system. This is for real. And yeah, I'm actually, again, I'm really excited about where Google's going with this. We don't quite have a price for this. Now, they say that we should hear something this year about as far as price and where we're going to go with that. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where we go, how well this do, who all jump on board. And like I said, I think pricing will be the other thing. If Google can price it at a sweet spot, you know, I'm not saying go too cheap. You know, I understand that if you're going to pitch this as a pretty much a gaming platform, you know, you got to get it out to people. So I'm not saying so cheap, but you got to find a way to get it to people and find a way to make it work where people can get on board and enjoy this. And you know, I'm not quite sure how they're going to do this. You know, I think they may do one of two things. I think they may do maybe a subscription base. You know, and they compare this with their YouTube Premium, their YouTube Music or something like that. Add that to that as an addition to that, where it can bring the price down, especially if you can price it, you know, at a sweet spot. You know, and then, you know, when it comes to games, they may say, okay, I think they're going to offer two options. One, if you decide you want to buy the game outright, they may say, okay, here's a cheaper option where you can be a subscriber, and then this would be the price of the games you can buy yourself. Or they may do a more another option that may cost a little bit more, but may include the games there. So, like I said, it'll be interesting to see how that goes, and I may be wrong on that, but that may be something that may be how they get this out there. But yeah, I'm excited. And I know I said that a number of times on this, but yeah, I mean, because it's been a while since I've seen Google put out something that really seemed like they thought this all the way through. They didn't just throw out some, you know, half stuff. It wasn't like a Duo or Allo, which, by the way, Allo's going away, where it's like, man, it has potential, but why in the world did you put this out there? You know, it's not something like that. This is like something like, okay, Google, you really thought this through. You really understood that who the big players are in this game is, and yeah, you actually you planned this out, and you in attack mode. So let's go. You know, I want to see this. So yeah, let's go ahead and go on to the next topic real quick. I know I spent over 20 minutes talking about Stadia because I was excited about it, and I'm gonna go ahead and call this Crease-gate. You know, and that's because a couple of actually, a video, I ain't gonna say a couple, let's be fair, a video went out talking about the crease in the new Samsung phone. Now, where I first saw this, and give me a second, I'm actually trying to pull up this video. I saw it on YouTube, and it was done by, there it is, Unbox Therapy. He actually talked about it. As far as who caught my eye, is when he talked about it, and I was playing his video that actually caught my eye. And it was put out, I don't know if the person wanted to be made known, but well, the video's out there now. So pretty much someone put it out on WhatsApp and showed, because he had a working device, it looked like maybe a pre-device right here. And it showed that in the right lighting condition, you can see a crease right there down the middle for this Samsung Galaxy Fold. Now, when Huawei was showing their Galaxy device, or I'm sorry, their folding device, out to the crowd, and someone caught that there was a crease in the middle of it, and people was complaining about it, saying, wow, look at this crease, I hope they can fix it. And yeah, people like, well, when Samsung come out there, they will be able to improve it. I say the same thing. But now looking at the crease, I'm thinking that for at least the first couple of years, that's going to be there. You know, let's be 100. You're folding a device in half. You're going to have a crease. It's going to be there. You know, for those who saying, wow, this is an eyesore. Why is that there? Are you serious? You're folding a material pretty much in half. You're going to have a crease. Now, where the concern I have is how that crease will result in the overall display. In other words, will that crease get in a way where, you know, you start seeing colors distort? You start watching videos, it starts getting in the way. You start watching movies or whatever. It pretty much take away from the experience. Will that be the case? My other concern is, again, you're taking a material, you're going to be creasing, you're going to be opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing on a number of times or occasions, I'm sorry. And when you look at the overall usage of people, or when people use their device, you know, in the summertime, you're going to be subjected to higher temperatures. And if you go to the winter times, it's going to be colder temperatures. You know, and then obviously when you playing games on it, you're watching videos, you're utilizing your device to its utmost capabilities. You're going to be warming it up. And anyone who's been around anything when it comes to material, when you warm something up, when it gets hot, it actually expands. And when you cool it, it shrinks. And when you have that constant expansion, it's shrinking. And you have on top of that opening and closing. What will that do to that? Will it create a weak spot? And will that weak spot result in a device that is not going to last that long? You know, are we going to have people complaining about, well, my device is not working, or I got pixels that are dying here, or I'm seeing discolorations here? What will happen? And this is why I said a couple of podcasts ago, when it comes down to these folding devices, as much as I'm excited about it, and I'm glad we're opening this up because I see the potential here, I'm not going to jump on board early. And I don't recommend anybody do that unless you know what you're getting into. Now, people, you know, who are these content creators, you know, your Unbox Therapy, your Marcus Brownlee, and people like that who will be buying these devices so they can produce YouTube videos and have it for their blog to show off to their viewers. Yeah, they know what they're getting into. It's pretty much part of their job to buy these devices so they can show it to you. But if you're an everyday user, an everyday consumer, someone who do not have a YouTube channel, someone who do not have a blog, you have a family, you have bills, you have more important things to do with your money. You know, you got kids that are going to baseball camp. You're supporting charities out there. You're supporting businesses, churches, whatever. Your money is already going all over the place. So you don't have time for something that's not going to last. When you buy something, it needs to last. For some of you, when you buy a phone, it needs to last at least 2 years, if not more. You don't have the money to be going and buying a device every year. Your wife needs a device. Your kids need a device. If you buy a device for your grandmother or for the grandparents, they need a device. So, with something like this, should you jump on board? No. Wait. Because we know that we're going to see problems. It's inevitable. This is the first year that this device is going mainstream. So we're finally going to get a chance to see this used in everyday use. We're going to see it really subjected to people utilizing to the maximum ability. Oh, like I said, opening and closing. Doing everything they can with it. So if you're buying this device, So for those looking to buy this thing, you know that you have the potential to have something that's not going to last. And that's why, when it comes to, quote, Crease-gate and the complaints, I understand the complaint. And I'm not here actually bashing someone from complaining. In fact, I'm glad people are bringing this up. It needs to be brought up because we're looking at $2,000 for the entry-level devices here. The Galaxy 4 would have come out would be $2,000. And when you look at where we at with smartphones, $2,000 mean that's 2 Galaxy S10 Pluses. That's 2 phones. That's a phone for you and your wife. That's going to be a one device right here, the Fold. And it's going to have issues. And if you're like me, you spend that kind of money, you don't want to hear about issues. You don't want to hear about, oh, we got a crease, we got problems. You don't want to hear oops from Samsung. Oh, my bad. Hey, you understand what's going down when you buy a device? No, I don't understand. I spent $2,000 for this device, and you got a big crease in the middle of it, and which I don't have a problem with the crease, but the problem with this crease is that, well, it's affecting the overall experience of my device. Why? Because I got this coloration here. The opening and closing now is breaking. We got cracks. And I don't want to hear from you that, well, that's what happens when you open and close the device. You designed it to open and close like this. So this crack is your fault, not mine. And we're going to see issues. And if you're someone who are not ready to go ahead and throw money away, wait. Because I see that 2-3 years from now, they're going to be cheaper and they're going to be better. You're going to see more companies do it better. They're going to have the hardware figured out. They're going to have the chipset figured out. Batteries will be better. Obviously, we'll have 5G version of these by then. And yeah, you're going to get a better overall devices when you go ahead and buy it. So look, Crease-gate, and I'm again continue to call it, it's going to be there. That's going to be the case, man. And with something like that, this is why I say for any time you have something new come out, you don't always need to be a beta tester. Don't go out there and run and be a company's beta tester, especially when you're paying to be a beta tester. Don't pay to be anybody's beta tester. They should pay you, not you paying them. But that's all I have for Crease-gate. I'm going to be interested to see how Samsung actually deal with this crease. Because again, it's going to be there. I don't care what anybody try to put. It's going to be there, or it is eventually going to develop. So how are they going to be able to build their software around it to make sure it don't get in the way of enjoying the content? Because if you have a crease there and yet you can still enjoy the content, then yeah, it's not going to be so much of a problem. I can care less how it look. Like I said again, especially since I know it's going to crease. When I have the screen off. What I do have a problem is when I'm viewing something or I'm trying to view a movie, is it going to be in the way? And that could very well be the case. Again, when if this is how you see it with the screen off, imagine when you're watching a movie, especially a movie that's a dark movie. How is that going to get in the way? Of enjoying that content. But let's go ahead and move to my last topic, and that's talking about going broke chasing gadgets. Again, I talked about earlier about Crease-gate. Again, people out there, you got families, you got other responsibilities, you can't go out there and throw money on something and not see it, not see it last. You can't. But yet, if you're someone who loves gadgets like me, you could easily go broke chasing these, I know for myself, so I've been doing this Dave Ramsey financial peace thing, and try to get out of debt, pay off some debt. And thankfully, I finally have been able to do that. I actually mailed off my last check. I actually paid it online. So my last little bit to nail that. So I'm done there, and I'm actually, as you say, debt free here. And yeah, I'm sitting here and I remember, thinking, about a year or two back when I still had like $3,000-$4,000 I owed on my student loans. And I'm like, man, I should be out of debt here. But the reality is, anytime a new phone came out, man, I got it. I joked around actually my brother joked around with me first, and I just actually stuck with it. But it's like every year I had a phone. I have more phones or more gadgets than most people had or families had combined. It was nothing for me to have a new phone, a new tablet, a new computer, a new laptop, and just mine is to play around with it. And when I started looking at the cost and adding that all up, especially when I was really being, determined to get out of debt, and I had to do a budget and look at where my money was going, what I was buying. Man, when I looked at how much I was spending in gadgets and I added up, I'm like, man, I could have, if not been out of debt, I could have been pretty close to being out of debt by now, if I had been disciplined. And that's the reality when it comes to these gadgets, man. And this is when smartphones were not at $1,000 like they are now. This is when they were still around $600-700, with the top price being $800. And we were looking at Samsung and Apple like they were crazy when they asked for $800 for a smartphone. This is what we were talking about then. And yeah, I was sitting there, buying a new Nexus. I mean, I talked about before. I bought a Galaxy Note 5. Pretty much paid it off. So actually, I went into Best Buy when they had like a deal for buying it, and they gave you like a gift card. So I actually took the gift card and took the money from the gift card and put it on the phone, and then was able to pretty much buy the phone outright, unlocked. And I didn't like it because I didn't like that Samsung wasn't updating their software. So I eventually just gave it to my brother and bought a Nexus 6P by Huawei. And I just pretty much paid cash for that one. So that was pretty much within the span of 3 months. And, so let's say $800 for that. And I would say it was close to 900. Well, let's go ahead and call it $900 for the Samsung Note 5. And I would say the Huawei was around $600-700. So we're looking around $1,600-1,700, if we add in taxes and everything, for 2 devices within 3 months. Again, I said that was like $4,000 from paying off my student loan. If I would have took that $1,700 and put it on my student loan, you can see I would have had that thing probably paid off much sooner. And this is talking about gadgets. And I know a lot of people like me who love these devices. We love these gadgets. We love seeing that Google came out with a new phone. Samsung came out with a new phone. This company coming out with this. We love playing with it, man. Even Apple, as much as we, Google fans may bash Apple, I personally, I love still seeing what Apple doing, playing with their devices, seeing the innovation they come out with, and seeing them making their way into the tech sphere. So people like me who enjoy gadgets, it's not hard to get out of control and find yourself buying this one and buying that one. Especially again, if you are able to get it on credit, or you can buy it from these devices now. Like I said, when I bought my Pixel 2 XL, I was able to buy it straight from Google, same as cash. Pretty much no interest. It was like a payment plan that was like, I'm gonna say $30 a month, and I ended up actually paying that thing off in like 4 or 5 months. Cause I just kept throwing money at it. So yeah, it's like you can easily get caught up in these gadgets, and before you know it, Samsung, they getting paid, they're making their shareholders happy. Google, they're getting paid, they're making their shareholders happy. Apple, they're getting paid, they're making their shareholders happy. But when you sit back and you look at your money, you look at where you're at, it's like, man, I'm still fighting this student loan here. Why haven't I paid this off yet? Man, I could have money in the bank right now. I could be saving up for a vacation. There's just other things that I could have been doing with this money. Now, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy gadgets. I can't quite do that, having a tech show or podcast talking about tech, talking about how much I love it. So enjoy your gadgets, but don't let the gadgets get to the point where you're making them rich. You're building up their houses, but you're taking away from your own. You're making yourself broke. You're literally going to the poorhouse, making them rich. Be careful, because you can do that with anything. Right here I'm talking about gadgets, but You can do that with sneakers. You can do that with video games. You can do that with another thing where you're taking your hard-earned money and you're giving it to these companies and you're building up their bank accounts. You're buying them dream houses. You're buying them dream cars. You're, supplying their kids' college fund. Meanwhile, you don't have a college fund for your own kids. Your house is not a dream house. Your car is nowhere near being a dream car. But you got the latest phone out there. You got the, latest gadget out there. You're hyping it up. So just be careful. I'm all for enjoying gadgets, but make sure you take care of you first. Make sure you understand that, these gadgets should last you more than 2 years, if not 3 or 4. You don't have to go out there and get the latest device all the time. You don't need to go out there and get a phone every month. Because in reality, a lot of these phones, you're going to be doing the exact same thing that you already doing on the phone that you have. And I understand the hype. When a new device come out, it's hype. There's going to be hype about it. All of your bloggers are going to be talking about it. All of your YouTube channels are going to be talking about it. If you got the Google Discovery on your phone where pretty much they bring up some new article, when anytime a new device come out, guess what? Someone's talking about it and they're putting it right there in the front of the feed so that you can see it. It's there. I know it's there. You know it's there. We know it's there. It's there. And it's that hype it can play with you. It can play with your emotions. Before long, you feel like you need to get on board. You need one. You need it so bad that it's like you're chasing down the UPS man because he haven't brought your device here fast enough. It's like you call up UPS. Where my phone at? You're angry. Where's my device? You said it's going to be here at 5 o'clock. It's 5:05. Where's it at? So yeah, it's easy to get caught up. And before long, again, you sit back and you look at back where your money went, and you're just upset because you realize, man, you spent all your money on gadgets that they're collecting dust. They're worthless. Especially when you look at the game that I feel like some of these manufacturers do play. When you buy this brand new phone that's, again, $1,000, it's the main reason why I have a problem with Samsung to this day, and why I refuse to buy a Samsung phone is because, again, as much as I give them credit for the hardware they build, and they do an excellent job with the hardware. I give them that. And as far as innovation, I give them that too. But when it comes to support, I gravitate towards the Pixel devices, and because of the fact that, in theory, if you have a Pixel 2 XL, it actually lasted 2 years if you think about it. Because the Pixel 3 XL was not really a device worth having. In fact, the one regret I have from last year is that I sold my Pixel 2 XL to get a 3 XL. I felt that was kind of stupid. I should have kept my 2 XL and just rided this thing out. But I did do it. So, yeah, when you look at Pixel devices like Google, they continue to update the software with the latest software to where it lasts. The original Pixel, I have Android Q on it right now. On the original Pixel. And that's what I love about Google devices. As much as I hate their hardware, that's what I love about when it comes to their software. And that's what I have a problem with Samsung. You got people who spend that type of money, thousands of dollars on your phone. And yeah, it's like, okay, you want to update their phone anytime soon? I'm on Android Q, and you got some people who are not on Android P yet. And that's a problem, And that's a problem I've always had with Samsung. And I understand a lot of people can care less about that. They can care less about the software they're on. P, Q, element, they couldn't even tell you one from another. And they don't care to be able to tell. Does it work? Does it turn on? Can they still make calls? Can they still make texts? Can they still check their social media? Can they still watch Netflix? Can they still do what they need to do? Then they're happy. And I understand that. And I understand a lot of people feel that way. So, but for me, that's what I do have a problem with it. And I feel like for someone who spent that type of money for their device, it should be supported for at least 2 years. And I say supported, I mean with regular software updates and not just security updates. Because the only reason why Samsung have stepped up their security updates because a lot of people start really pressuring them on that. And that's pretty much what they're doing. And even with the security updates, they're not doing as good of a job as they can be doing. And that's why, again, I have a problem with it. And that's why I say when it comes to these smartphones out there, don't allow yourself to go broke on it. If a phone you buy cannot last you 2 years, it's probably not worth buying. Unless you're buying, like I said, one of these unlocked phones from like Walmart or Target or something that you're pretty much buying to take to the beach or whatever because you don't want to ruin your flagship phone. But other than that, if you're buying a flagship phone, it needs to last. The manufacturer needs to be supporting it. It needs to be hardware that is proven. And if it's not, man, don't buy it. There are a number of other ways you can enjoy these devices. And also, man, test them out. Go to your local Best Buy, test it out. I've done that with a number of devices. I'll pick it up, test it out. And you know what? I didn't like it. I turned it back in and paid a $40 unboxing fee. Fine. I'm okay with that. Here's $40. That's saving for spending $1,000. I didn't like it. Don't be afraid to do that. Just make sure when you commit to a device that you want to commit for 2 years. And with the device you buy, take care of it. I know people talk about, I don't want to put cases on. I don't need to put cases on it. Okay, I'm putting a case in my phone. And this is why. Because I want to be able to resell it. Again, I don't have the luxury of being able to buy a phone every year. Well, I'll take that back. I just talked about how I was able to. So, a lot of you guys who don't have the luxury of being able to buy a phone every year, make sure it do last, put a case on it. Because if you decide next year that, this new phone is hot, this is what I really want, if you took care of that previous phone, a lot of times you can go ahead and sell this thing off of someplace like Swapper, eBay, or even back to the manufacturer and get a pretty good deal to go with the new phone. To where instead of paying $1,000 for that new phone, you're paying maybe $500. And if that's the case, that's what you're doing, then hey, that's a better deal than $1,000. So take full advantage of what you have if you are someone in gadgets, and that is making sure that you take care of your device so that you can sell it back. But most of all, make sure that even if you're enjoying hardware, you're enjoying these gadgets, you're having fun with it, you enjoy talking about it, you make sure you're doing it at a rate where you're still taking care of yourself. You're still taking care of your family. You still have money in the bank. You're still able to enjoy vacations. You're still able to make sure that you building up your house and not so much taking away from your house to build up theirs. And this is a challenge for a lot of gadget fans like myself. When you step back and you look at where your money went and you start asking those questions, man, what was I doing with my money? And when you start thinking about that, you're like, man, I need to slow down. I need to start building up my own house. I need to start building up my own bank account. I should have $1,000 at minimum in savings right now that I can get to. And that money should not have been emptied out to buy a phone, to buy a gadget. And keeping that in mind, and when you have that at the forefront, it'll make you think about when you see a new gadget come out there. Like when I talked about the Samsung Galaxy Fold earlier, you'll think about that. You'll be like, well, you know what? Do I want to be somebody else's beta tester? Do I want to pay you to be your beta tester on a device going to have problems? Do I want to do that? And when you think about that, a lot of times you're like, nah, I'm going to sit back and let somebody else do that. I'm going to sit back right here. And I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till you get this figured out. And once I get it figured out, then I'll jump on board. Or I'll wait for somebody to get so frustrated, like, this is garbage. I'm putting it on eBay for much cheaper. Then I pick it up at a discount. But until then, yeah, for you gadget guys out there, people like me, yeah, just keep in mind, it's about taking care of yourself, taking care of your house. But this is it for the neXup podcast. I went almost 50 minutes talking about various topics from Stadia to Crease-gate to gadget fans like myself, making sure we're not going broke. So, hey, leave your comments below. whether it be on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to this podcast. Leave them below. I want to know what you think. Can Google really compete with the gaming industry? Can they compete with PlayStation right now? Can they compete with Xbox? Or, nah, you ain't ready. They ain't ready yet. And about Crease-gate, is it really a big deal? You know, will this actually be something that will show up in everyday devices? Or is it like, come on, bro, it's a phone that folds. It's going to crease. What you guys getting hyped up about? And lastly, going broke chasing tech. Do you have any stories where this affected you? Affected your friends? Do you have advice out there? So on those 3 topics, please leave your comments below. I look forward to reading them. I want to be able to interact with them. Those who leave comments below. And guys, thank you for yet again enjoying this podcast. I love talking about tech. I love having this time to be able to, reflect on these topics. And I look forward to another week, bringing some other hot topics. But for now, go enjoy some NCAA basketball. For those competing in the tournament, good luck. For those with brackets, good luck. And for those who are not sports fans, you just happy that spring is here and happy to enjoy the weather. But go outside and enjoy the precious weather that we've been granted and blessed with. So to all out there, thank you again. I'm out.